Welcome to another Triathlon Podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another Triathlon Podcast. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to another Trathlon Podcast brought to you by Mana Apparel. We're going to have some fun chatting through everything going on in the triathlon world, but this week we've got a special guest with Tom Bishop, a professional triathlete, coming on to, one, help us chat through a bit of the PTO action this weekend, and then we're going to dive a bit back into his career from the short course and now definitely making waves when it comes to the long distance. But first off, we'll say hi. Tom, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks very much for inviting me on your show. I'm doing good. Just preparing for my last few races of the season, really.
Excellent. What do you have coming up next, actually?
So my next race is Challenge Peguera in Mallorca, which it's a really good race. I've been there before. I came second a few years ago, so going back and seeing what I can do, it's more of a see where I'm at race rather than trying to go for a really good result. So I'm kind of excited to go back there and all focused on Taupo really, or Topal if you want to. I can't remember how they said it.
No idea.
There's so many different ways to say it.
It's Topor, actually. Now
okay.
Topor. Yeah, I need to get that into my head. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure I've said it about a million different ways in the lead up to this race here, but we'll go with that because that sounds right.
Topor is what I was told was the proper way to pronounce it. So let's go with that. No.
Perfect. Well, we're going to jump into, there was a bit of a race this weekend with the T100 in Ibiza, and considering you have the short course background and a lot of these athletes you probably know from those Olympic days, we wanted to get your thoughts as we do kind of a rundown on the race. So we're going to start off with Josh. Do you want to run down what happened in the women's race on the weekend?
We can certainly do that. And I think, as we all expected, we had one Taylor Knibb just kind of running away with it. But before we got there, she actually had a pretty tough swim and was just kind of trying to hold on to that front group and making sure she got into good position. But it was a great day for a lot of the ladies, especially Indy Lee coming back from a rough outing in Nice. So I was like, she got to see her dog for a couple of days and it rejuvenated her and hit Ibiza and was ready to go. It's not easy, even when you have a bad day, an Ironman, to come back and do another distance a week later, 6 days later. So kudos to Indy for having a good race. But I think from the get, it was Taylor pushing the pace on the bike and this became a bike run and conditions started warming up, and we saw Ash Gentle not having the greatest day, but having a pretty decent run, trying to come from behind. And as usual, Paula Findlay right there in that 5th, 6th, 7th spot and running herself up to 5th. I think we all called Paula's probably going to finish about 5th, and fair enough, she did. So at the end of the day, we ended up having Julie Derone coming out of nowhere, coming out of the Olympics, and her performance there, running her way up to 2nd place after a penalty, the first ever drafting penalty in the T100, finally. But it was only a minute due to the new rules. So thanks to the new rules, thanks to the marshals for actually giving her penalty. And she was able to overcome that and run her way to 2nd. So we had Taylor Knibb by a landslide with Julie Derone in 2nd, Andy Lee in 3rd, Ash Gentle in 4th, and Paula Findlay in 5th. Annie Hogg, even after the shortened Ironman, still was only able to get 6th, so still not fully there. Wondering what's going on there and what her focus is, but really interesting to see how that result went for her. And good to see Taylor Spivey's first T100, top 11. Didn't get in the top 10, but some interesting pieces of things that we could talk about. I don't know, Tom, what was your take on the weekend?
Well, obviously Taylor was so good. She just she just delivered what we not what I think beyond what we expected. Like she that bike was insane. Like how fast she rode, like that was insane. Um, so yeah, that's where she's at, and I think going forward when who knows what she's going to do next up. Like obviously she's an Olympic athlete. Like she went into Paris wanting to try and deliver, and she couldn't. So maybe, but she's young enough to go for the next cycle. So it depends what she wants to do. But I think that was an incredible performance. Yeah, and you gave credit to Indy, and that's one of the best comebacks I've ever seen. Like from such a disappointing race in Nice to delivering that result it was inspiring, really. I thought she did so well. And you mentioned Ash as well. Like she was in a really tough position. Like she started the run being a lap behind. Like I think Taylor was coming through as she started the run, so that must have been demoralizing for her. But the way she kind of fought and brought it back, like very well done to her, definitely. Um, like yeah, I just thought the race was really exciting. Like that I raced Ibiza last year, and the bike course has changed, and it looks like it was a much better course for people to race on, really. Um, I guess, like, I know a few people like Lucy Byron, for example. She was eighth, I think, in the end. Um,
Yeah.
she'd come off Beijing, had a great result in Beijing, was second behind Paula. I know she'd been struggling with illness after that race, so for her just to back up another solid result was good. And then, yeah, let's talk about Taylor Spivey, like first, like non-drafting race. Like I
2 weeks.
messaged her actually. Yeah, I messaged her like maybe a week before, just saying like, oh, hope you're excited. Like it's really fun. It's like a different vibe to the World Series. It's way more chilled, and I just said just enjoy it, like learn loads, enjoy it, because she's throwing herself in the deep end at the highest level of non-drafting races, and she gave it a crack. Like let out the swim, pushed the pace, which is I don't know, maybe why Taylor Knibb was struggling on the swim. Like Spivey's one of the best swimmers there, so and she'll learn so much before the next one in Las Vegas. So let's hope she can, yeah, learn about it, and I don't know, she'll be better. She said to me like it was the same for me when I first did my first non-drafting race. Like the dynamics of the pack riding and stuff, it's so different. Like you don't know, you're trying your best to not get done for drafting. You're trying your best to be honest, and that dynamic is so different, and you need to learn and experience that. So yeah, I'm sure she'll come on over the next few races.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely made it interesting, and it's cool to see the Olympic athletes coming over. And what did you kind of find was the hardest part transitioning from short course road bikes riding in a pack to long distance?
In terms of the cycling, it was more just obviously trying to hold your gap and learning the gap for a start. I mean, Race Range is a great new technology that's coming through, and it gives you a great insight. But if you're not got Race Ranger, it's really hard to judge. So like I know a lot of people they just don't want to get done, so they're almost holding a gap larger than they need to. So and then you're at that point where you're like, okay, this gap's quite big. Let's surge on, and then you're close again. So it's very stochastic, even though it should just be one pace. It's really not. When you're racing, you're constantly surging and then backing off, surging, backing off. Like that's how I feel when you're trying to hold the gap. And you get better at it. Like some of the best guys just know how to ride, and then they know when to make the pass. Whereas if you're inexperienced, you're like, oh, hold back, and you're a bit tentative about if you should make a pass or not. And again, Taylor also said to me, she's not done the training for it. Like she finished the Olympics in July. Like it's not enough time to really train for this sort of racing. It takes a few years to get good at it. So yeah, hopefully.
And she's been doing super tri on top of that, so it's like even a different speed. So
fair play to it, to giving it a crack. With all exactly the super tri. Like it's been a very busy time for us. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was so good to
And
watch.
Kat Matthews, too. I forgot to mention her. Kat finished 13th, just kind of going through the motions. After second place in Nice, to come and do that, go
World
through the motions and still finish 13th in the world.
Oh, for sure. I think Kat's season's been so impressive. Like the way I know Miami probably wasn't ideal for her with having pulling out with an injury, but the way she backed it up in Texas, I think it was, and then the rest of the season's just gone so well for her. Like she's nailed it, and I was like, oh, has she bitten off more than she can chew, trying to do both? But like she is an example for everyone about how you can manage pack season and race well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been crazy to watch. I know we had a lot of the same questions at the beginning of the season too. Just it seems like a crazy packed schedule, but she knows her body. She's got that background in physio and seems like she's managing it well. It's crazy impressive.
She's done so well.
And by the way, Taylor Knibb was 3.5 minutes clear of everyone else on the bike. I mean, it wasn't even close. And I think she was, like you mentioned, she was 9 minutes ahead of Ash going into T2.
No, what ride? Like it shows. Like, unfortunately, we watched the Olympics. Like she had a few crashes and stuff, so she wasn't able to really show how well she could ride against the best in the world. But yeah, she's an incredible athlete. Like, wow, I'd be scared to race her, to be honest.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, how about we jump into the men's race there? There was a bit of action in that one, and it was a little bit closer than the women's race, we'll say. Josh, what happened there?
And we had our Olympic athletes shining on this side too with our boy MVR, Martin Van Reil. But what a race too. I mean, it was back and forth on the bike. This one wasn't decided until the run. And it was quite a battle. Fred Funk was up front for a while off the bike. The swim went as expected. Aaron Royal and crew up front. Josh Hamburger, your typical guys up front on the swim, but we knew this would come down to the bike and if people could ride clean. And unfortunately, our first drafting penalty went to Jenna's boy Alistair. And he owned up to it, and he said he had his head down and was just kind of powering through and didn't realize he had gotten into the zone for a couple times. And he was able to overcome the penalty and stay in the race. So that was cool to see. But yeah, we ended up having Martin and Sam Laidlow battling out on the run, and they were together for the first 4 or 5K, and then Martin's like, I gotta go, and took off, and Sam had nothing to respond to, and he just kind of took it home from there. But we had Martin, Sam Laidlow, which again, surprising to us. I mean, we've talked about this, which Sam's going to show up with Kona as the target. And he continues to show up these last few T100s with a win and now a second. And then we had Mika Newton, Alistair Brownlee, happy with his first performance at the T100 that he's going home happy with and feeling good about. So Alistair in fourth and Fred Funk in fifth. So it was good to see another friend of the pod up there in the fifth spot. What do you think?
I was going to say they didn't see going off a bit too.
Sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Sam, I wasn't sure how he was gonna like turn up with this race, like you said. But obviously, with Kona being such a focus for him, like he's defending champion. I know a few of the Kona athletes decided not to race because they were focusing on that, and he delivered. He showed his form, and I'm sure he's probably going to go into a block now just to focus on Kona. But yeah, Sam's just come into some great shape over the past couple of months, and yeah, I can't wait to watch him in Kona. I think Christian and him are going to battle it out. I don't know how. Obviously, Sam's brought on his run so much over the past couple of years. It could be really interesting. And yeah, going back to the PTO, Martin just. Obviously, he's the guy to beat now, isn't he? Really,
so
going into the next few races, he's going to be all in for these, and it's going to take something special to it. Obviously, he led this one out. he's a really good swimmer. He's always been a good swimmer in short course. We've always known he's been a strong biker in short course as well. Like he's been pushing it, he's been aggressive. Like the amount of times we've seen him off the front in races, and he's got that short course run, and he can back it up over the 100K race. So I can't see many people beating him, but I think Kyle got close. In Alcatraz.
San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco. Yeah, and obviously Rico was there as well, wasn't he? Right until the end. I know Rico's like when he's on and he'll be there, and obviously he struggled a little bit. So it's looking forward. It's gonna be really interesting. But yeah, that race is really exciting to watch. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the whole of the run because I had to go out training, but I was like, oh, can I just delay it a little bit more? I just want to watch the rest of this race. But I had to be disciplined. Yeah, and I kind of put a little bit of the audio on in my headphones, but the connection wasn't great. But I caught up on the race and stuff. And yeah, the way Sam held on to Martin and Martin's run pedigree, I was like, wow, this guy's like he got his run better than he's in his best run shape in his career, I imagine, right now. And like I'm also a good friend of Freddie's. I was really, really happy to see him come fifth, and he was pushing it on the bike as well. Like he's had some good races this season. And I think he's still building actually towards the end of the season. So I reckon Freddie's a guy to watch out for over the next couple of races because yeah, he's going to be motivated. He's got a wedding to.
A little extra motivation to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's just running on a high right now, I reckon. So yeah, really good. And then obviously Mikanu getting third, that was so good to see because he's been delivering such world class performances year round. Not necessarily like he's done a few of the PTOs, but outside of that, like he won Zeeland Sea by miles. Like that just showed the quality of this athlete. So yeah, happy to see that guy get his first PTO podium. Like, yeah, really well deserved.
It was interesting. We had 5 guys under 148 on the bike, all on the 147s on the bike, and then 7 of them under an hour on the run. So, I mean, right there's your difference. I mean, that bike run, but the difference between the men's and the women's race, too. I mean, you had 5 guys coming off the bike that were like right next to each other, neck and neck, and then 7 of them running their hearts out sub 1 hour. So, crazy.
I guess I'll mention, like, Yuri, obviously, he was disappointed with his swim, I think, because he ran the fastest in the race. And, like, he wasn't that far behind in the swim. He just missed the kind of that pack. And I know it's non-drafting, but the pack, even if you don't get the benefit of drafting, it still helps you pace and stuff. So I'm sure he's going to try and figure out a way to kind of be there and then deliver the run that he did in Ibiza. So
because he lost 6 minutes on the bike because he wasn't with that lead pack.
I think he was just chasing all day, and when you're chasing and you've not got that like momentum, especially at the front of the race when you're in a pack and you're working hard, like it just carries you. Whereas if you're chasing, it's like it's really tough, and like when you're chasing all day on the bike, and then you've got to get off, and then you've got to try and chase them on the run. Like to be able to deliver the fastest run split is really impressive. Like from 6 minutes down or however far he was, like let's give him some credit for that, and hopefully he can like turn it around for the last few races. I reckon Singapore probably took a lot out of him considering how deep he went and the fact that he had to get into a medical tent and stuff. Like he probably didn't give himself credit for how deep he went and how much that would have affected him, like probably for weeks, months afterwards. So
yeah, once you're kind of burned like that, it's probably hard to go back to that place again. Your body is kind of saying, no, we don't want to do that again.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. And I guess, I mean, we mentioned Alice's penalty, but he actually rode back into the race. Like, he rode himself back into the race. Like, he rode faster than the guys. He had a minute penalty, but he actually rode back into them. So it shows that Alice is in great shape, and had he been in that pack, it would have been a real close battle for the podium for him, I think. If not, he might have he might have had that impetus to battle to run with Sam and Martin. But yeah, I'm excited to see him in Las Vegas and the grand final. So yeah, he's I'm waiting for him to deliver what he can do, and he's nearly there.
Yeah, that was my fault. I picked him for the win, so something had to go wrong in there for sure.
Yeah, I know. Sorry to interrupt. I like obviously I live in Leeds. He trains in Leeds. I'm close friends with a few of his training partners. Like I've heard he's in great shape. Like he's going well. Yeah. So let's hold on. I reckon by the end of the year he'll get himself a podium, if not a win.
Get it in there. Did you hear though the glee and the happiness from Jan Frodeno when they announced the first penalty in there?
Yeah, Jan's been waiting for a penalty for a while, hasn't he? I remember in London, I think it was Lucy Byram had a penalty, but it was actually a mistake because I think the race ranger might not have been working. But they obviously we've seen some interesting gaps. I don't know. Like people just try and race, and obviously right now. I think the new penalty system probably gives the referees a bit more courage to actually. I'm gonna turn off my. Yeah, I think the referee gives them a bit more courage to maybe penalise people. So yeah, maybe that will. Yeah, maybe we'll see a few more, but hopefully not. If people are trying to be honest, then let's hopefully see just honest racing and stuff. But I guess the 1 minute penalty. It's interesting. I've come from short course. People from long course are drafting definitely 5 minutes or whatever. But it's such tight racing at the front end, and it with the courses as well. It's hard to sometimes not be in the zone, especially with the corners and things like that. And when, like Alistair said in his comment about it, he was just putting his head down and trying to get I don't know, hold his gap, get back into the gap, and then suddenly you realise you're inside the gap, and you're like, oh, can I put the brakes on or whatever? I don't imagine Alistair was trying to cheat by being in the gap. He just found himself in there a few many times by just trying to hold the line. So it's tough. So maybe the 1 minute penalty is okay for T100 because it is so tight and it's so on. But we'll let other people decide about that.
Yeah, definitely. And if people didn't know, they changed the drafting penalty from 3 minutes down to 1 minute for the T100. And that seems to be the idea, is just make it so that it's not a race-ending penalty, so that maybe the draft officials will actually hand them out once in a while. And you can see how it'd be tough to hold that gap, especially with everyone spending so much time working on their aerodynamic position, CDA being such a big conversation these days. If you've got your head up looking way ahead of you, then you're losing that aerodynamics. So you see how the athletes are tucked in.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I'll admit, I've done. I actually in my first season, I had a 5 minute drafting penalty because I was in a front pack of maybe 10, and I was actually at the back of the pack, and I was just trying to hold my gap, and then I was having my head down. Tried to get back into the group, and then obviously I was in the zone, and so I think it's more you've got to be quite fluid with it. As long as you're not really taking advantage, then which is why I think the 1 minute rule for T100, because everyone is going so hard and the packs are so tight, because obviously we've got the best in the world racing. It is close, and I know Race Ranger have their data of how much people spend in the drafting zones, and hopefully we'll see some sort of I don't know, a document or not even a document, just a report about how people race and what sort of happens with the Race Ranger technology, and how much people spend in drafting zones or not, and how it works. So I'm sure they've got the information to help us understand how it works at the top end, because it'll be really interesting to know. I raced Roth this year, and we had Race Ranger, and you see the red light every now and again, but it's you're in a compression or like a technical section or a hill, and it if anything it helps me race better because I'm trying to like I'm just holding the light that I feel like is fair.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like yeah, who knows? Hopefully, like that company gets more funding and they can expand and like spread that technology throughout racing because I think it's really good.
Yeah. Do you find it kind of easier during races having Race Ranger in there so you have a good idea so you're not guessing so much and you can maybe stay closer because you know you're not in the draft zone, or how do you feel it
To,
helps?
to be honest, like so if anyone knows Race Ranger, I'll explain it now. So red is basically you're in the drafting zone. Blue is you're within 2 meters of it, and then I think orange is 5 meters. I could be wrong with the blue and the orange, but I think that's what it's like. And I actually try and hold orange, and then
Mhm.
blue, I'm like, okay, I'm getting close. Don't try and push. So I tend like the last race, again, Roth, like the last race I used it was that, and I tried to hold orange where I could. Um, so yeah, I think it's definitely helped me. But when I don't have races with Race Ranger, I tend to count. So just roughly
Okay.
like 2 seconds, like 100, 200. That's roughly about 20 meters going at 40k an hour. Like I know it's very vague and sometimes you're going much quicker. So it will change, but I try and like use a trigger point on the road where the person's just gone by and I like count. So that's my kind of reference. And then obviously you've got referees around you. You can ask them if that's okay and stuff like that. And most of the races, in fact, all the races I've done, the referees are very compliant with saying, yeah, you're good or back off
Okay.
or whatever. So yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, speaking of Roth, you had an absolutely incredible performance here at Challenge Roth this year. It was very cool to see with the second place. And if I'm not wrong, you got the British record for long distance triathlon. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how your day went there? Was that your first full Ironman that you completed, or?
Yeah, I did race Almere the year before, Challenge Almere in the Netherlands, and I actually went into that race knowing I wouldn't finish because I was carrying an injury. But I probably shouldn't have raced to be honest because it was even hitting on the bike by the end. I had like a bad knee. But I just wanted to experience the swim and the bike at least, just to know what it was like. But yeah, so I went into Roth this year, I guess still having not completed a full distance. So I I just wanted to get around and experience what it was like. I'm good friends with Belinda Granger, who's obviously a part of the
Oh, yeah.
challenge team and stuff. And I was asking her last year, like, what would you recommend do as a first race? And she just said, just do one with where you get a good experience. Like, don't like just have a good time there. No matter the result, like go to a race where it's fun. And I'm so glad you suggested that because even if I'd had a bad race at Roth, like the experience was incredible. Like the crowds, like I got a homestay and they were lovely, like so supportive. In fact, like I was going to the race, like literally walking to the start line, and I realized I'd forgotten my bike nutrition. And I was like, oh, because obviously, like, you don't you don't rack your bike with all your nutrition. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh no. And then the daughter of the homestead I was saying, she like got on a bike and like rode it over to me and stuff. So I was like, it was so nice. The whole experience was wicked. So I'm glad I did that. But obviously the race went really well. So super happy with like my first proper go at full distance, and yeah, to come away with second was not what I was expecting at all. Like I just wanted to go and try and target 8 hours as a target, and ended up getting the British record at the time. It's actually been broken by Kieran Linders, who's a good friend of mine. He broke it in Frankfurt a few maybe 3 or 4 weeks later. So yeah, I've not
Oh,
got the British record anymore, but it was at the time. So yeah, I'm quite proud of that because Alistair had it before, and obviously we know how good Alistair is. So
okay.
yeah, yeah, to hold that record for even for a little bit of time was quite an inspiration or an inspiring thing for me. But yeah, no,
Absolutely.
I loved it.
That's fantastic. And now was Celebrate Hill as incredible as everyone talks about?
Oh, so good. Like obviously for the pros, we get the experience of the first lap where you're racing, you're going hard up the hill. Like obviously Magnus was up the road by I think 3 or 4 minutes at the time, but we were in a pack of I think 6 of us, and it just felt like being a pro cyclist. We all like I'm a big fan of pro cycling, and you watch the races, you're like, wow, that must be incredible. And I got that experience on Solar Hill, and it was so good. But even like it was raining, it was a miserable day, but even everywhere, so many people were cheering you on. It was just an incredible experience. And I've got a friend who he might finish doing pro triathlon next year, but I was like, you have to do Roth. Like, please,
Mhm.
please do it just for that memory. Definitely.
That's fantastic. Now, when it came to, obviously, you come from a short course background, was there anything that surprised you about the Ironman distance? Obviously, you had an incredible first finish line there. Was there anything that you wish you knew beforehand?
Uh, I mean, the first few like middle distance races that I did, uh, I didn't like obviously fueling's a thing. I tried my best, but I didn't realize actually how much you had to do. So I did my first I did my first one and came fourth, but I really suffered. Like I was like on the limit for probably half of that race, and I was like, this can't be normal. This isn't how do people race like this? So obviously, like nutrition's a big thing, and then just obviously we spoke about earlier with like Taylor Spivey learning the dynamics of drafting as well. Like I didn't really know how that works, so you just overextend yourself trying to I don't know keep up with a group or like braking so you don't get a drafting penalty and stuff like that. So um, that would be I think nutrition's a big thing, and then like pack dynamics is also something I don't think you can really learn until you do a few more races. And thankfully by the time I was in Rock, I was able to like kind of judge riding in a group and stuff like that. So yeah, there would be the two big things for like a pro racing, like nutrition, 100%, and then learning how to like be safe and be fair.
Mhm. Absolutely. Now, you started obviously in short course, spent a lot of time at the Olympic distance, the WTCS series, and had some success there, number of top tens in those series. And I wanted to know, kind of looking back at that now that you're transitioning more to long distance, what are some of your most memorable experiences from that whole journey?
Oh wow! So I won a few world championship medals as a junior in 23, which was like really cool. That was yeah, 15 years ago. Like junior, I came second at world champs, and then came third at under 23s twice, which was amazing. Um, and then I struggled for a little bit of time after like like when I just came out of the under 23 bracket into senior racing because it's just hard. Like you're racing against the best in the world, and obviously you're up and coming, and you're trying to almost train harder than you need to. So I struggled with a few injuries and things like that. But by the time I was 25, 26, I kind of found my grind, found where I was like comfortable training and getting some good form. And I came second at a World Series in Abu Dhabi. I think Javier Gomez won and Vincent Louis was third. So that was probably that was the best achievement I had in short course. Um, as part of some relay teams where we got some medals at the kind of the short course relay format and stuff like that. So yeah, it was. I'm happy with my career. Like I tried to make the Olympic Games. I was reserved twice. I was really close a few times, and I think the stress actually got to me trying to qualify in 2021 for Tokyo,
Yeah.
but the 2020 games were at 2021. Um, like I was in the shape I was in the shape the year before. I just never quite. able to deliver that final result to try and qualify. And yeah, I think the pressure of trying to qualify the third spot for Great Britain was just, yeah, it got to me. And I just, yeah, I got to a point where I was just not enjoying short course anymore. And then obviously I'd always dreamed of like Kona and the long distance and middle distance career. And then I thought there's more to it than just short course. So I gave it a crack, and I raced Daytona in 2022, and I came fourth there, which I was really happy with. But like the result it wasn't necessarily the result, it was more the way I raced. And I was like, yes, I can actually do this. Like I ended up having like a 2 minute lead off the bike, and then I ended up getting run down a bit, but I was like, yeah, no, this is something I can do. And that race is like a bit of a game changer for me in terms of my career and like giving it a go again and really loving the sport again, because the stress of the Olympics and the short course, I wasn't happy. And I loved triathlon, but I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. So middle distance and obviously long course was something that I found the love of the sport again, which was, yeah, it was amazing. And I'm still doing it now. I'm loving it. So yeah, it was a new breath of life.
That's incredible. Now, when you got into triathlon, what was it that motivated you? Was it you learned about Kona and thought Ironman would be cool, or were you seeing the Olympic distance? What really got you fired up to start?
Oh, it was, I mean, I started when I was really young. Like in the UK, we've got like, I don't even know if it's still a thing anymore, but it's a grassroots like tri-star thing. So you basically just have local regions where you just go and turn up, and you swim in a pool, you ride around a grass field and run around the same field. And that's when I started. And then I I got I've got a twin brother actually. He did triathlon is like for 10 years alongside me. So we were always pushing each other and things like that. So yeah, it was great to have him to train with and push each other. And we both got a sniff at like racing for our country. And yeah, like since I obviously, like when you're a kid, you're looking at all the stars at the time. Like I was looking at Tim Don, like Will Clark, Stuart Hayes, all these guys, and I was like, oh, I just want to have like the experience like that. And when you get your first like GB vest or international vest, you're like, oh, this is something. Maybe I can build on this. And yeah, I just kept on training hard, like my brother as well. Like we kept on pushing, and yeah, like before you know it, you're in your 20s and you're racing for Great Britain regularly on the circuit, and it's really nice. And then you think, oh, what can I do next? How can I get to the next level? And it's just, yeah, you just get your head down. And I moved to Leeds where Johnny and Alistair were. They gave me so much inspiration to like train hard, and like I knew what it took because obviously they were the best in the world at the time. I was just like, oh, if I can just be close to them in training and stuff, I know I can kind of be up there. So yeah, it was a really fun time. Obviously going through uni, doing studies was tough, but I enjoyed every moment of that. But you do get to a point in short course, especially with how fast the sport changes and the talent that comes through, and it just gets faster and faster. And like I said a little bit earlier, like you get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough anymore, but is there another option for racing and carrying my career? And obviously, like long course and the way I trained was more for like the endurance side. Like it was all for the Olympic distance, like the longer type stuff. Whereas if you put me in a race now with how fast it is, all the shorter races, obviously super try and things, like I've I've not got that sort of talent. That's for the really fast stuff. But obviously the longer distance was something that I thought, yeah, this is something I can do and I enjoy it. So yeah, I really hope people like coming through who are like sort of like borderline like kind of GB vests, but they feel like they don't quite have that sort of speed, that really explosiveness that what we watch on the World Triathlon like series and stuff. I hope they look at like middle distance long course a little bit earlier, because I kind of wish I'd dipped out a little bit earlier and put my focus in. But it's so stacked nowadays. Like, you just got to be so good to try and make it work for you. But yeah, it's been a really, really good journey, and hopefully it'll continue for a few more years.
Well, it definitely shows that you're well suited to the long distance with that British record and your first finish line at Roth there. So you're on the right path now. Yeah, I won't keep you too much longer, but just wanted to ask, if you could choose whichever series next year to jump all into, what gets you most fired up? I'm guessing it's not Super Tri, but between Super Tri, the T100, the Ironman series, Challenge has their series as well, which one gets you most excited?
That's a really good question. So obviously the Pro Series has been released, hasn't it? It got released a few weeks ago, and I literally messaged my manager, he's a mentor as well. Like, I was like, I don't know what to do. But obviously I had a great experience with Roth. But Roth actually, it doesn't, obviously with the Pro Series, it doesn't really fit well, because you try and you're essentially trying to do 4 fulls plus a few halves, and I really want to go back to Roth. So I'm like, I'm not really sure. My goal for next year is to try and qualify for Knibb. That's goal number 1 is qualify for Knibb, and then goal number 2 would be the Pro Series, alongside like having a good result at Roth. But like, obviously the T100 would be amazing. It's just, I feel like it's really tough to break into. It like, I obviously didn't get a contract this year. I had 2 DNFs in the T100 last year, which I think felt like it cost me a slot there. So I'm a bit gutted about that. And I've realised this year it's tough to break into. You can do it, but obviously I'm not in a position to get into the T100 for next year unless Topal goes amazing, which I'm going for, but I'm not kind of banking my whole next season on a good result there. So I think probably the Pro Series is the way to go, but it looks so tough. Like, I followed the guys racing, and like Matt Hansen's done an incredible job leading it. Like, he's done so well, but I think it helps living in America, to be honest. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I know they've shifted the calendar next year to a few more European races, but yeah, I'm actually really struggling to figure out how I'm going to work out next season, and it will take a bit more time. But yeah, I guess the Pro Series is something to be excited about.
Days after there. Yeah, it seems like the Pro Series, it's really about durability and who can get the races in. We're definitely going to see some big switch ups when it comes to Kona. Matt's done incredibly well, but I think Kona is definitely going to be the deciding factor for a lot of those positions.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like, you could be leading the Pro Series until Kona, and then like that will change it massively. But like, I'm sure Matt is all focusing on Kona as well. Like, I'm sure I really hope he does hang on to it, because I raced him in Chile last year, hung out with him, like, really good guy. Like, and I know, like, I think he's gone all in for it, and he's done well, and I really hope he holds on.
Yeah, that makes a big difference with so many of the top pros are kind of 1 foot in T100, 1 in the Ironman Pro Series, and you really see that divide. But I think next year it's going to be a lot better. It seems like everything crescendos to the World Championships being the end of the series, instead of, Kona's going to happen, then we have to wait till December to see what happens with the 70.3 Worlds to get those overall winners.
I feel like there's going to be a new influx of people in the T100 from the short course side. There'll be a lot of new contracts and stuff. So maybe some of the guys in the T100 who are really more long course guys will just be like, nah, we'll just commit to the Pro Series. And I think we'll see next year a much more competitive Pro Series. I mean, not that it hasn't been competitive at all, but I think it's going to be a fight next year to really get that crown. I think it'll be decided with like one of the championship races for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I will let you get back to your tea time now, but thank you so much for taking the time to jump on here and give us some insight, especially to the T100 series with your experience with the short course athletes as well. But good luck in your upcoming races here. We'll be following along.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it's great to be on. Enjoyed it, and best wishes to you guys too.
That's not all the action we have going on today. We are back after closing out with our incredible guest today. But I'm back with Josh, and we're going to dive through some of our regular segments with What the F and social media posts of the week, and also take a look towards Super Tri this weekend. So let's kick off, though. We haven't even caught up yet this week. We're both training for the Chicago Marathon. Different goals at that race for sure. But Josh, how has the training been going leading into Chicago?
It's another successful week. At this point, it's like, don't get injured, don't get sick, don't get hurt. And I've been able to avoid all that. And at the same time, keep adding miles and adding miles at marathon pace and feeling comfortable. And I had actually my first bad workout, I believe on Tuesday, where I was going to be doing a pretty tough 1K workout and bunch of Ks on repeat, and I think it was actually 800s this time. And I 3 or 4 in, I actually, even like the first or two, I knew I didn't have it. I didn't have that push through mental piece. I didn't have the power in the legs that I normally have to like, hey, I can get through 2, I can get to the 3rd, and then 1 by 1, you all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm done. I didn't have it. And that was the first time this whole block I didn't have that, which was kind of like what I kept saying to myself. It's okay. This is the first time. This is the first time you've missed a workout completely. And I was still able to get out of the 10 or so miles of that workout, I was still able to get like 6.5, 7 done. But only about a third of the speed work that needed to be done. So got through that and bounced right back and hit the next few workouts, including my run on Saturday, which was, I think, 16 miles. I ended up doing just about 17 because I realized I had a chance to get to 200 miles for the month. So,
don't have a choice.
Not going to pass up that opportunity. And it was like, if your legs are feeling good. So that was actually 4 by 15 minutes. So pretty much 4 by 2 miles at under goal pace or right at goal pace. So pretty much for me, that is 7:20 pace, 7:25 pace for most of these. And it's still like, people are like, hey, run at marathon pace and it's not going to be much. It's like, man, my efforts for BQs and this number is like, it's just below my threshold. And it's like trying to get that threshold as close to 7 as possible before this race. So that 7:20 feels a little easier. And every week it is getting a little easier. The heart rate, I feel like I probably got a little bit of a bug or something coming out of the trip to Chicago and back. It never really showed itself, but I could see it in my heart rate. And that was a little elevated all week. But on Saturday for my long run, everything kind of came back to where it was. And just with timing and things, I had to do it on the treadmill. And I found out I knew Peloton on the tread had like all these 30-minute classes that broke down the New York City course. And they actually filmed it on the course before the race, at the beginning of the race last year. So really cool. All the fans are out there. All the aid stations are set up. People are waving and reacting. And you get to run the whole course. So it's great recon. As a triathlete, like, this is gold. But they actually have one where it's just a straight up 2.5 hour with whatever music you want or nothing, and you just go. And so I chose to do that. I did like a little 15-minute warm-up walk and jog, and then got into my effort. And sure enough, 16.5 miles later, I'm at the finish line in Central Park. So really cool way to do it. If you're going to have to do it on a treadmill, find something interesting like that to do it with. And I'm not a big watch a movie or TV or Kindle or anything like that. It's either no music or run with some scenery or hear some good motivation from the Peloton coaches. But really happy, hit every effort, was able to actually progress most of those efforts into my fastest interval, the last one, and felt great coming out of it. Felt great yesterday. Did another 1.5 hours on the bike and a little bit of strength and mobility. we've got a pair of Normatec boots, which has been really helping. So that's really helped the recovery, and my sleep has been, I've just kind of locked everything. And like, this is like, it's such a fine line for me to have a good day. And the weather, I mean, God, if we could have the weather they had in Berlin, like, kudos to you guys for 45 degrees at race day. And it looked phenomenal in Berlin. And kudos to everyone that crushed it over there. I don't think we're going to get 45 in the morning in Chicago based on what it looks like. But it won't be too hot. And I think I'll be good to go. And the way I look at it, my basement's at like 70 something degrees and about 55, 60% humidity, depending on how I play with it. So I'm ready for it. And now it's a true taper. I've got nothing more than like 9 miles is my longest run this week. Just, again, crazy. Like 9 miles is my longest run this week. And that's nothing. Like my hour and a half bike ride last night, I was like, yeah, whatever. It's a cool time in my life, and I'm really enjoying it. My wife's gotten through all her training, and she had her last real long run last night, and she's through it. So we're just excited. We're actually booking like dinner reservations now, and like the actual planning for being in Chicago is starting to take place. So really, really neat, and got a shakeout run when we get out there Saturday morning. And it's been a good time and a good training block, and now it's don't F it up.
Yeah, that's always a fun place to be, but a little bit nerve-wracking. At this point, you can only, hurt yourself more than anything. The fitness is there, the hard work is done, and it's just counting down to race day.
Yeah, and I've got a couple decisions to make on the nutrition and how I'm going to handle it, but I think with my parents on the course and the way everything's going to play out, I talked to them this weekend that if I can start with 2 bottles, I might. If not, I can start with 1 and they can be at mile 7 and we'll go from there. But that's kind of like the last piece of planning I got to do is what I carry as opposed to what I pick up on the way out. And the less I have to pick up on the course, the better off I feel like I am with, man, you look at the difference between running 26.5 and 26.3, like again, it's a fine line for me right now. So I got to save every 10, 20, 30 seconds I can get.
Yeah. Number 1 tip, run the race lines. People always underestimate how much further you run if you just stick to the curve. Just run the race line, shortest line across.
There's going to be a lot of people in the middle on that blue line, wherever it may be. And Chicago is really good. It's a blue line straight all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, my week of training for it didn't quite go as well. Week 3 of marathon training with the race in 2 weeks now, but no, I ended up testing out some new run shoes, and I think I got them a half size too small. I didn't get my usual size because they were out of it. I thought it's probably close enough. Wasn't close enough. So ended up getting a blister between like my big toe and the next toe, which is just, anytime I wore shoes was just aggravating it. So I got 1 run in during the week, and then thankfully was able to run again on Sunday. So 2 runs last week, which was a slight departure from the 61 miles the week before, but thankfully was able to and have a blister Band-Aid on that is good enough that I can run again. So we're back on track-ish, which will be good.
We'll just say the deloading was maybe what you needed after that big week.
There we go, yeah. Reverse taper. That's what I'm doing here. You got the down week, ramp up a little bit more this week, and just kind of ride it into
right all the way up to 26.2.
You know, though, that's the fun part, though, with like the race goal just being finish the race, have some fun, chat with people, and enjoy it. There's no stress. That 20-mile run the other weekend was like, okay, I can run the pace. I'm good. So definitely a lot less stressful when it's not the goal time or race hard or all that fun stuff. So yeah.
I can feel your joy in this, and it's like, I'm going to have it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to smile, but it's going to be a painful smile. And I cannot wait to run the next couple races after this are going to be that for me. Like I've got a virtual marathon and a couple halves that are going to be like, I don't have a goal time, and it's just going to be go enjoy and hang out with people. But what a difference it does make just on that stress level and everything else when you are attacking a specific goal. But it's why we do the sport too, right? And we're all trying to get a little bit better. And it's also a good reminder
to then still have those races where you go out and enjoy yourself as well.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not something I've done really ever kind of thing. So going into a race knowing that it's just going to be a fun one to, hang out with some great people, run along the course and cross that finish line. So it's, a totally different perspective and headspace. So
I have a feeling like you're going to need one of those guide ropes that they have in the Paralympics. Like someone's going to need to have that on you so that you don't take off as you feel good. Like, I know.
I know. I'm going to ask the guys, okay, I can pace you. Just tell me what pace you want to go and try to hang on. Although I made a few.
Jenna incoming.
I made a few of this group suffer at that sub 7, sub 8 project on the race course on a bicycle there. So we'll see how much they want me to make them suffer during this race.
Speaking of Macca, I actually caught when I was watching the T100 this weekend, and I just kind of left YouTube open. It starts to do a mind of its own thing on your algorithm and start playing things. And the first thing it went to was like an old Super League from, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years. I mean, it was like crazy old. And the format was one of your favorites where it was swim, bike, run, swim. It was like all three of them changing up. It was like, but Macca was like one of the commentators, not a coach. And it was really neat to see that. I actually watched the whole thing.
Those were a lot of fun. Yeah, I got pulled into one of the corporate races for some of those, and it's just the hardest part is just trying to figure out what's coming up next at the same time. And, that was a blast. It was a little bit more of the Wild West of triathlon back then. They're just kind of doing whatever sounded like a good idea, see if it works. And I missed they had like 2 days of racing, two or 3 days of racing with different formats and stuff. But
this one was Christian Blumenfeld. Goodbye.
See ya.
Yeah.
No, that'll be good. Yeah, looking forward to it. When do you get into Chicago?
We go in on the 10th, so a week from this Thursday. So we get in pretty early on that Thursday, kind of settle in, relax, do our own thing. My parents and my daughter don't get in until Saturday morning, so we'll do all the expo and check-in stuff. We've also got our foundation has a lunch on Saturday, the day before the race, and I'm organizing a Peloton or anybody type shakeout run for early Saturday morning, and then a little brunch after that for people to get together, and that's gonna be right down on the river walk, a little like out and back 5K or less. So yeah, Friday is kind of our only day that we don't have much planned, and then Saturday night we have a dinner planned with some friends. So and then I leave early Monday morning, but not Sunday night, which is nice.
Yeah, at least you get to recover. Oh, there's nothing like a flight right after a race. It's just awful.
Yeah, and even now it's like, and I'm not working right now, not yet. And Monday's a holiday in the States. It's Columbus Day, so which is also another reason why all of this travel to Chicago is probably a little more expensive than it normally would because it's a holiday weekend as well.
Okay.
But we don't have to rush back because my daughter doesn't have school and nobody has work on Monday. So we'll see. Maybe I can see if there's a later flight. But what about you? When do you get in?
I get in that Thursday too, but Thursday night in there. So we'll definitely have to catch up at some point to actually meet in person after a year of podcasting.
We will expo it on Friday.
There we go. Well, we had a few other things happening this weekend. Let's jump into, let's start with social media posts of the week. There's a bit of breaking news. What's going on, Josh?
Yeah, so we have another retirement, which we had Javi Gomez earlier in the week, announced his retirement. If you didn't see that, check out his post. But as of this morning, Katie Zaferis announced that Toulouse this weekend will be her last race as a professional triathlete. And so she's going to give Super Tri one last go, and she's kind of been one of their heroes and top athletes for a long time. So kind of fitting for her to go out at a Super Tri race. A little sad she's not going to give long course a try, but understood as well. With everything Tommy's got going on and all that, I'm sure there was a lot of talks about her future, but she's got an awesome post up explaining everything and talking about her career. And then if you look at around the triathlon world and social media, World Triathlon, USA Triathlon, Super Tri, everyone's kind of putting out their thank you, Katie posts. So just kind of check that out. Check out Kay Zafaris on Instagram and leave her a comment and drop her some love to get a chance.
Yeah, she back in like 2018-19, she was just unstoppable at that Super Tri Series, the Super League back then, and even WTCS. It just would have been, the timing never worked out for her to have that day at the Olympics that she was absolutely capable of. She was dominating short course for a time, but she definitely inspired a lot of people around the world in triathlon. So it's been an incredible career. Like you said, sad that she won't come to long course to give that a try, but she definitely has left her mark on the sport, which is always cool to see.
Yeah, and she's such a good ambassador and such a good human being. I had the opportunity to meet her when she was here in Boston a few weeks ago and go on a shakeout run with her. And literally the whole shakeout run was she and I chatting the whole time. And that was all led by her asking me questions. I was like, wait, I'm supposed to be the one asking you questions here. It's just who she is. She likes to get to know people and others around the sport. So kudos to Katie. Congrats on a great career, and we'll miss you.
Well, let's jump into What the F of the week. And the What the F is Ironman Chattanooga. This race, if you signed up for it a year ago, you got something very, very different than expected. Traditionally, Chattanooga has a fast downriver swim. I did this race back in 2021, I think it was. Fast river swim and a hilly hard bike course that is actually 4 miles longer at 116 miles instead of the usual Ironman 112 to make up for that swim. And then again, a marathon with a big old hill in the middle. It is one of the most fun, challenging, wicked courses out there. But this year it started with, they made changes to the bike course. So instead of 116 miles, it was supposed to be 112. But then it turns out race day ended up being closer to 107. So they didn't quite make the Ironman distance after all of that. And because of the insane weather with the hurricane rolling in and stuff, they ended up canceling the swim a couple days before the event as well, because it just was not going to be safe. And who knows, all the stuff being flushed into that river with the rainfall and all that. So it turned into a bike run kind of day. And it's kind of crazy how these happen. I actually experienced this one time at an Ironman doing, if you don't have a swim, they do a time trial start. And what they do is they set off a couple athletes every few seconds. In the pro field, they set them off one at a time just to let them space out a little bit. And then the age group, it'll be a couple at a time as they go through there. So when it comes to the pro racing, it completely changes up the dynamics because you don't know where everyone is, if they're ahead of you, in front of you. And I think that definitely affected a few people's races come race day, where you could be the one to break the tape, and then you just got to wait to see if the person behind you is actually faster with a delayed start in the end. And I think the race could have shaken out a lot differently on the men's side if they had been racing head to head. But where I think it made the biggest difference was we had actually Sam Long and Cody Beals battling it out on course with, who knows if they even knew that they were that close. But the men's side, it definitely affected the race day. We had Jackson Laundry leading from the start, just absolutely crushing it on the bike. And then Sam Long started to run through, and Cody Beals started to make up time on him. And they ended up with Cody Beals 20 seconds behind Sam Long. What would have been, if one, there was a swim, Cody Beals would have crushed it. But two, if you knew you were 20 seconds behind someone, do you have 20 seconds more? What do you think, Josh?
So, and then I watched a lot of this on the Ironman tracker, and then it came up on the finish line cam. Normally for the age groupers, actually popped up on YouTube before the pros finished. So really got that up and watched. But I knew Mark Dubrick was there, and he was kind of chirping for a few people. There were some others there that I would imagine giving splits. I don't know who they're giving splits to and who they're not giving splits not to. Was Cody Beals getting the same splits that Sam Long and Jackson Laundry were getting? I don't know. I don't know what kind of crew he had there with him. But on a day like that, it was super important to have somebody there giving you accurate splits, because you have no idea. Even on the out and back and the loops and all that, you just, doesn't matter how far somebody is. You just don't know. And with the start, I think every start was 10, 20, 30 seconds in between the two, the each individual. And then you look at it at the end of the day, you start 40, 50 pros, somebody started a half 20 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a big gap there between the first guy out and the last guy. And one of our Mana athletes was the first one out, and he got the crowd going. So that was cool to see.
Yeah.
But Jackson was definitely having a good race, and he just kind of realized he went a little too hard at the beginning of that marathon and had to pull back, which was cool to see him still hold on to fourth. But man, if Sam and Cody, I would imagine they knew that they were close, because I think the mile 23 or 24 split was like Sam was like a minute 34, and then it was a minute. And then it was like with a mile to go, he was 20 seconds ahead, and it ended up being exactly 20 seconds. So Sam definitely turned it up. Cody definitely turned it up, and their turn up ended up being the exact same pace apparently for the last mile. But there was a good 5, 6, 7 minute difference between their finish times, and you had to wait and see where Cody came in. And man, Cody was pushing, and he's had a rough go of it in a lot of different ways, and it was really awesome to see him smiling at a race he's familiar with and has had some great battles at. He's won that race before. He's had some close podium battles with Ben Hoffman and Sam Long and even Lionel Sanders at this race before. So he was happy with his second place performance. I'm sure, as we know, the swim would have helped him out a lot. Although, I mean, what are our guesses if they actually did hold the swim? Forget the drudge and everything else that came in. 15 minutes, 12 minutes, like what? I mean, with that rainfall and that speed of that water, I mean, it would have been super crazy fast.
Been insane.
Yeah. But and here's a chance for us too. I mean, our hearts go out to everyone that was affected by the storm that came through from Florida and the southeast all the way up through the Midwest. So hopefully everyone listening is doing okay, and your family and friends are doing okay, because I know some good businesses were impacted, and a lot of lives were lost and families impacted. So hopefully everyone is doing okay. And I've been through 2 big hurricanes before, and I know how it is afterwards. So wish I could do more to help.
Yeah, our hearts go out to them for sure. That's so scary to think about. And I know a lot of people are still displaced and are going to be dealing with the repercussions of that for weeks, if not months, to come afterwards. But back to the triathlon side, may as well run through the finish here. We had Sam Long in first, Cody Beals, Andreas Dreitz, Jackson Longy, and Michael Weiss for the men's side. And then on the women's side, we had an impressive showing by Sarah True. She was over 7 minutes down coming off of that bike, and ended up running her way up to win by 3.5 minutes. So 10-minute difference on there. It was fantastic to see. She is always just a superstar out there. So we had Sarah True in first. We had Stephanie Clutterbuck in second, Anna Marie Strelhal in third, Haley Chura in fourth, and Danielle Fatto in fifth. So always a great showing at Chattanooga. That's one of my favorite courses, but had some insanely quick bike times where everyone started looking at the course, and it definitely went from 116 down to about 107, it looks like this time. So there weren't any world records, really. It was just a lot faster out there with the shorter course. But hopefully they can get back on track to next year. It sounds like the bike course change is around to stay, which, I mean, the bike's my favorite, so I'm a little biased. I liked the extra long bike miles. But
at least get it to 112. I mean, come on now.
I mean,
kind of 2.5 mile out and back or something.
Right, that's exactly it. Little dog leg somewhere.
There was, and speaking of too, because we talked about the hurricane and everything, kudos to Jackson for getting there, because they offered everyone at 70.3 Augusta, which was completely canceled, in the pro race, an opportunity to go to Chattanooga, and Jackson took them up on it. And when he and Lisa Bacheras went up to Chattanooga from Atlanta, from Augusta, Georgia, and got in a full distance Ironman without the swim.
That is quite the mental and physical shift to switch that. May as well just go do an Ironman this weekend instead. Oh, good.
Now, does Sam Long show up in Nice? No, that's the other. Like, Sam Long just punched his ticket to Nice. Like, but Sam Long on that 8,000 foot climb, I mean, we know he can descend it, maybe, but I mean, it'd be interesting to see. We got a year to think about it, but I don't know how Sam would do in a Same Zakona boy in my mind on the bike.
Yeah, definitely. Be cool to see him out there, but definitely waiting to see if he's going to go all in on T100 or check out that Ironman Pro Series. So actually, that's one of the questions I asked Tom Bishop there, which one he's going to be going for, and he's going after the Ironman Series next year, all in on it.
Yeah, as he should.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump over to Super Tri. We got Toulouse coming up next weekend. So this is always a great course and fun to see the racing there. We're going to have the format has changed so that they're always doing the same format. I guess it's changed so that it's always the same. Anyways, it's going to be swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, one after the other in there. And it has been absolute domination at the top for the men's side with Hayden Wilde just crushing it out there. And then we've been seeing incredible performances by Georgia Taylor-Brown on the women's side, both within Crown Racing. But let's take a look who is racing this weekend for the start list. Looks like we have on the women's side, we're going to have Georgia Taylor-Brown, Jean Lahaire, Taylor Spivey, Cassandra Beaugrand, Olivia Matthias, Jess Fulgar, Kate Waugh, Leonie Perriot, Beth Potter, and Alice Beto. Definitely all of the familiar faces that we've come to expect and love in there, and it should be some great racing. And then on the men's side, we've got Hayden Wilde, Alex Yee, Matty Hauser, Vincent Louis, Kenji Nina, Leo Berger, Sergio Baxter Cabrera, Vasco Velasa, Burshvik Thorne, and Connor Bentley. I missed a few in here. We got Seth Ryder, Max Stapley, Chase McQueen, Reese Vanderson, Emil Holm, and Hugo Milner. And on the women's side here, missed Kristen Casper, Fanny Salazzi, Barbara DeConig, Katie Zabiris, and Victoria Lopez, and Emma Lombardi. Whew, it is going to be some epic racing.
I think that's what the athletes are saying too. Phew, they've all been traveling all over the world. They've all been racing all over the world.
Yeah,
all different distances.
We didn't even touch on the WTCS race this weekend. They had another one there, and we saw some of these top names racing at the Olympic distance last weekend. And we saw Alex Yee, after his string of kind of meh results at Super Tri, absolutely smashed it at the Olympic distance, which is definitely the one he knows and loves and dominates at. I'll be curious to see how he goes coming back from that, traveling halfway around the world again to come race the super short distance of Super Tri.
It will be interesting because we've had a lot of this field, like we just talked about, raced either in Weihai or you had some of them, Taylor Spivey and T100. I know a couple of weeks prior to that, Seth Ryder was in his first 70.3 and got up on a podium. Some of these guys were racing in a whole bunch of different. Hugo, I think, was there as well, racing that 70.3. So it will be interesting to see how they go compared to some of the ones who have been getting fresh and ready to go between London and Toulouse. So I'd have to think about who I want or who I pick in this one.
And you know what? I think we're going to start to see some change-ups at the top of the leader field too. So right now for the women's side, we've got Georgia Taylor-Brown in first, Jean Lahaire in second, and Taylor Spivey in third. But right behind her is Cassandra Beaugrand in fourth with just 1 point behind her. So if Cassandra has her usual race in there, you can definitely see her moving up onto that podium placing with this race. And we're really barreling towards the final, which will make a big difference there. This year, they're doing it a little bit differently, where the athletes more get paid out for the team's rankings and results more so than the individual. But there is definitely some glory to be had being on the podium and some bonuses there too. On the men's side, we've got Hayden Wilde in first, Matty Hauser in second, Vincent Louis in third, with Leo Berger 1 point behind him. So again, that's something that we could definitely see catapult past. But we've got Kenji Nina on the same rankings as well as, or on the same points as well as Alex Yee. So we've got 3 people 1 point behind Vincent Louis. So I think, well, who knows? We might see some change-ups there. Leo Berger has been absolutely crushing it.
And he was the late comer to the Super Tri this year too. So by missing Boston, I think he came in a little bit fresh and ready to go. And he's been crushing it the last couple events with Boston and or with Chicago and London. So yeah, he's somebody to watch in Toulouse and in France and in his home race. So I would be Leo's a tough one to go against in this one.
Too, though.
But at the same time, Hayden and Alex can race like every other day and just keep going too. So
yeah, true. Yeah, it's funny. That's got to be a tough turnaround, though. They change the location and stuff, Olympic distance to short. It's always easier to go that other way, kind of short to long. But there was like a significant portion of this start list was out racing the Olympic distance.
Yeah.
Really curious to see how they can back it up there, especially the big travel between.
I agree. So, you know what? On the men's side, because I know he's been getting better and we know he's capable of competing with these guys, and he's been out front, I'm going to go with Vasco. I think he's gonna hold on to one of these and actually put a full performance together. I don't think he's been straight training between the two, and I think he and Leo are going to be neck and neck, and then I think Hayden and Alex are going to kind of. Alex has more to run for, that's for sure, because of his last couple races. Hayden is sitting in sweet spot up there, so I think this is a huge race for Alex E. But I'm looking at Vasco to put himself in the picture, and Leo maybe to cement himself in that top 3-4.
Interesting. Yeah. I was just pulling it up here because we had like Alex E, Leo Berger, Vincent Luis, Hayden Wild. They were all in the top 10 of that way high race on this weekend. Yeah. We saw Hayden Wild really just didn't seem to have the legs on the bike there, whether it was sickness or something felt off in there. That was a surprising show of form, especially at a course that would have suited him for sure with a big hill in there. You'd think Hayden would be flying right to the front, but Alex E was right up there and Hayden was just kind of shelled up back, unfortunately. You know what? Who do I like in this one? It's really tough to say. You know what? I think I'm going to go with someone who wasn't actually, well, even Matt Hauser was out there racing too. Jeez.
He was, I think. That's why I love Vasco for this race.
Yeah, I could see that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was pretty much everyone was out there. Actually, you know, the more you're talking, or remember I'm thinking about this, Vasco's a good shout, just being fresh going into it. But, you know, I think Hayden, if he had some kind of sickness going in, maybe he's feeling better, and he's just so good at this distance, that confidence, I think makes you suffer a little bit more and kind of push to that limit. So
yeah,
it'd be fun to see a switch up at the top, but it's hard to go past Hayden Wild for a win at Super Tri this year.
I agree.
Okay, let's go. So for the women's side, again, so we had actually the way high race. May as well read out a little bit. We had Lisa Tersch in first, Beth Potter in second, Georgia Taylor Brown in third. So the people are racing Super Tri. We had Kate Waugh out there, Alice Beto, Jean Lahair. So again, we had a ton of this field out racing in way high.
But not Cassandra.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They didn't, the French didn't send anyone, or they, yeah. Oh no, I guess they had Jean. Yeah, it's hard to go past Cassandra Beaugrand in this one. She's going to be fresher than everyone else. She's been on such an upward trajectory. She almost got Georgia Taylor Brown in the last race there. It was just seconds with being off in her first swim. And then incredible was like 17 seconds or something came back from over the rest of the race. So hard to go past Cassandra. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I'll let you have Cassandra. And I don't think Spivey is going to be at the top of her game either, given her whole build into the T100 and doing that race this past weekend. Man, how cool would it be to see Katie Ferris, like, hang on for an entire race and then compete and actually go out on top and mic drop everything. And man, it's tough with everything going on in way high. It is. You know what? It was Olivia Matthias there. I don't think she was. So she's been close and she's been pushing the pace up front. So maybe she puts a race together. I'd love to pick you, Katie, but we're going to go with Olivia.
Olivia, I like it. Definitely. Oh, that'd be so good to see Katie finish it off like that. It just be a fairy tale ending after she has made such a massive impact on Super Tri over the years.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we will be watching. Lots more action to come, and we're in the countdown to Kona as well. Just 3-4 weeks out now, so it is coming up fast and furious. I think that's it for us tonight. Josh, was there anything else going on in the triathlon world?
No, just stay tuned and watch our social media, share like this, and we might be dropping another professional athlete interview that you might want to listen to very shortly.
Excellent. Well, as always, thanks for joining me, Josh, and have a great night.
All right, you too.